Good evening! Welcome to the final round of Season 17 in Division 2 at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. My name is VNT Phoenix 1. I'll be taking you for one more time through tonight's action, and then we'll have a bit of a break before Season 18 kicks off. And what a finale we are in for. We have got a three-way Constructors' Championship fight between Alpine, McLaren, and Red Bull. And that should be, a very, very exciting one. Red Bull, the only team of those not out with both main drivers today, but still with two drivers driving for them. Soli, unfortunately, not available for tonight, but he has been replaced well with Bobodinho. Another reserve on tonight's grid is Maxi. He is a driver that joined the league recently for Division 3. He did quite well in the test races, and he thought, why not give Division 2 a go as well? We'll see how he gets on here. I reckon somewhere in the midfield he'll settle in. He's replacing Mihai in the Mercedes today. And apart from that, we are... well, we haven't got any more reserves, but we are also missing Action Wreck, who is unavailable, unfortunately, as well as Pocho, who didn't join the lobby now. Yeah, but apart from that, we have a strong grid. 18 cars for this season-ending race. Last round of Division 2 being the lowest division in the league as well. Of course, Division 3 starting next season. Well, starting properly next season. We've had a few test races now the last couple of weeks. 4 to be exact. So those always give us a good indication. Yesterday we saw a win by DC Viral. A strategical battle in that actually. He went for a 2-stop strategy, while many others, including Flavors, went for a 1-stop, and they were... Well, the battle was over, I feel, for the end, as Viral, I think, passed him around lap 24, lap 25, and then just drove away. But Flavors lost a lot of time in traffic, so I think it's fairly close between 1 and 2 stop here. It really depends on the individual driver, how much tire wear they have, how well they can manage the traffic, and that is certainly going to be interesting today as well. So we've got some strategical options here, and of course it will be very, very crucial to get a strategy right today for 3 teams particularly, those being Alpine, who are the current leaders in the championship standings on 318 points. Behind them, we've got 2 teams in contention to still overtake them at this last race for the Constructors' Championship, those being McLaren, who are on 299 points, PC Bully having already wrapped up the Drivers' Championship for himself last week, and then Red Bull on 295 points, 23 points behind Alpine. So essentially, if Alpine win this race, they have a really, 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 really good chance of winning the championship. Even if they don't, they have a little bit of a buffer to play with. For example, if PC Wooly wins this race, which I think is not unlikely, he's been the dominant driver, especially in the last 2 months or so. Ever since sort of the middle of the season, he's been in unbelievable form. That would be McLaren scoring 25 points, of course, and with that they would be 6 ahead of Alpine, not considering any points scored by anyone else. So then, even if PC Wooly wins this race, all that if Aussie wins this race, all that Alpine have to do in that case is outscore the second McLaren driver by 6 points. So, for example, if PC Wooly wins the race, Aussie scores 0. Kuko or Guga only need to finish 7th. Of course, it becomes more difficult the more points the second McLaren driver scores. And from Red Bull it's a bit similar as well. If, say, Bobodinho wins this race, Viral scores 0, all Kuko or Guga have to do is finish 9th. But it's a little bit too complicated with 2 drivers per team and 3 teams to consider to go through all of the possible permutations. So we'll talk about the championship standings a few more times throughout the race, what the current situation is. But yeah, I'm gonna have to do some math throughout the race for that. another interesting thing we have going on is a very close fight over 4th position in the standings, so behind the big three, I guess you can say. PC has already secured P1, Sully I think has secured P2 over Gabri, and Gabri has secured P3. There will be no changes in that top 3 at all. Yeah, PC leading Sully by 35, Sully leading Gabri by 31, and then Gabri has got 31 himself to Guga in 4th. But then it gets interesting, because Guga in 4th, 158, Sean in 5th, 157, Phantom in 6th, 156, and Kuko in 7th, 156. So a 4-way fight over that P4 in the standings. Of course, it's a P4, so realistically, it's not really that important, but I'm sure there is going to be. You'd rather finish 4th than 7th. It's not nothing, you know. So I'm sure there's going to be some look for that. But especially Guga and Kuko, I think, have got more important things to focus on. But I mean, if you score points, that also is quite helpful for the constructor. So, but I don't think we'll be seeing them racing each other all out for 4th position if they have constructors on the line. Imagine if they crash into each other like that. That would be. Yeah, very poor. Thankfully, that's a bit more simple because it's so close on points. I mean, 2 points between Guga and Kuko, and in between I've got Phantom and Sean as well. That basically, whoever finishes ahead is 4th, unless they finish 9th and 10th. In that case, it could be that Guga was to stay ahead of Kuko anyway. Right now, Red Bull 1-2, but well, only 3 laps in. 23.2, 23.3, then a 23.4 from Guga. Gabri goes over the line with a 23.2. Splitting the Red Bulls. Varel on pole right now, ahead of Bobodinho, with Gabri in the middle. Ossi coming to the last corner. Also one of the protagonists in today's championship fight. And he's got a 23.7 for us. That's P5. Maxi currently in 6th, 24.1. Kuko had a mistake on a lap, 31.5. Papdog goes 5th, 23.6. Pix goes in 8th, 24.2. Next across the line, I believe, is Edwin. For one last race, our reigning champion. Oh, is PC really the reigning champion? How does it work, actually? Is Edwin still the reigning champion? Can I still say this? Well, 24.1, he beats his teammate to P7. Which, unbelievably, he does not do as often this season. I think Mihai is leading the head-to-head battle. Which I think absolutely no one would have predicted coming into the season, that Mihai were to out-qualify Edwin over the course of the season. But it's what happened. At least I think so. Maybe I've got it in mind wrong, but for sure it's been a tough season for Edwin. And he's gonna try and improve on that next season, I imagine. Last time head-to-head was posted was after China, and Mihai, yep, was leading Edwin 5-2 in quali and 4-3 in race. Damn. Sean goes 6th fastest, 23.5. For Sean and Pix, this is also a well, a big moment. Their last race together as teammates. Two of them both with different teammates for next season, as Kuko goes top by 1,000 over Viral, 23.232. But Viral is right in that top group, and Bobolinho as well. Red Bull with a good start here. Alpine also in 1st and 6th right now. In a good spot. Worth mentioning, that lap from Kuko, of course, would have been on a used set, I believe, because, yeah, his first lap was a 31-something. So he would have had to go around again, recharge the EAS, and, of course, put more wear on the tire. So I think Kuko has got more lap time to gain, still. Haas in a great spot as well right now, 3rd and 5th. Unfortunately, not in the Constructors' Championship fight. Same for Ferrari. They dropped out of contention last week in Zandvoort with Phantom's DNF. Could have been a 4-way fight if not for that collision he had with Gabri. Which Gabri did get penalized for as well, got a 10-second penalty. No, sorry, 5-second penalty. As Pisivoli goes top, 22.507. That's a big gap there, 7 tenths between Pisivoli and anyone else. He wants to put a mark one last time on this season. That is a very good reason that he is our champion. And he wants to secure that Constructors' Championship for his team as well. But he's gonna need Aussie's help for sure. Pisivoli, the gap, I mean, it's a little bit too big for him to do it alone, 19 points. Unless Alpine have a generational stinker. And even then, Red Bull only 4 points behind McLaren. Which, Well, if PC would finish first, Red Bull second and third, the Red Bulls would beat McLaren without Aussie scoring, so Aussie's gonna have to, well, right now he's 10th. Definitely pick the pace up a little bit as well. Otherwise, yeah, McLaren in a tough position here, as both Red Bull and Alpine have got both drivers. Well, Guga is in 7th, but the lap time is not that far away from the guys ahead. Very close to Flavors, especially 5,000 there between Flavors and Guga in 6th and 7th right now. Always coming to the end of a lap here. The battle for 4th in the standings right now. We've got Guga, Sean, Phantom, Kuka to look at. That is Kuka in 2nd, Sean in 8th, Guga in 7th. Phantom without lap time still sat in the pit lane, as per usual. He's back to getting just about in time to the race and not being able to qualify properly as he's having dinner at this point. Here we've got JM without lap time so far, halfway through qualifying. Not sure if he went out before or if he invalidated. Either way, this lap... Oh! And that is an invalidation as well. On the exit of the chicane, goes a little bit over the white line, and the game immediately punishes him for it. Lap will not count. Rival up by just under a 10th in the middle sector there. Bobolinho up by just over a 10th in the first sector. So Red Bull coming in with improvement, but Rival has bottled it. Goes over the track limits there. Lap also ruined anyway, since that was a horrid speed that he carried through there. So no improvement coming from Rival there. That could have put him, well, would have almost certainly put him into P2. Any improvement would have put him ahead of Kuka right now. But Bobolinho, let's see if he had a good middle sector as well. 4th gear coming out of the long left-hander. And he's gonna be up. There we go, 43,000, I was gonna say. Forgot where the line was, but didn't show up for me at some point, but yeah, Bobolinho with sort of equal middle sector to before, slightly slower, about half a 10th. So if he has a good last sector, he can definitely still improve, and that looked pretty good. That is a 22.925, yeah, 4 tenths gained in the end, so a little off time to find in that last sector, and Bobolinho goes into 2nd position. Now Gabri on the lap, slightly down in the first sector, 36,000, so nothing lost there. Well, not nothing, but only a small amount lost, and I think got a tow by Flavors down that straight. So that's helping Gabri a little bit more as well, maybe to challenge for pole position. It's gonna need almost 8 tenths between himself and PC right now, if I'm... Yeah, almost 8 tenths. The gap right now from PC to us in the field is quite large, and Gabri still down on his previous best, 41 thousandths away from his 23.2 earlier. Just gonna need a good final sector here if he wants to get himself further up the grid. I mean, it's fairly close. He's only half a tenth away from Kuko in 3rd, but the gaps after that get very big to Bobolinho and PC. Let's see then, Gabri into the last corner. That's gonna be a 122.744, a great last sector there, 5 tenths gained. And he splits Bobolinho and PC, goes up into 2nd place. Next across the line is Aussie, but he isn't validated. No improvement coming from him. After that, we have got a Red Bull of Bobolinho going back to the pits. Then I see a Williams, I believe. That would be Pix, and after that it's Sean. Pix up by 44 thousandths. I thought he was off track there in Latifi corner, but I guess not. Was maybe an optical illusion. So over the line for Pix, and that's going to be a small improvement of 3 tenths, puts him ahead of everyone in 14th. Teammate Sean goes up on the 4th, 23.183. And then we've got Kuko improving as well, but he doesn't improve position 29.193, exactly 100th behind his rival right now, teammate next season, Sean and Kuko, teaming up for season 18 in Division 2. Flavors now getting a bit of a tow of more Mercedes here, who now gets out of the way just for the corner. Flavors up by 3 tenths, a purple middle sector. Flavors on for a, well, if he matches his previous sector 3, 23.1, could put him in the top 4. And let's see if he's got even more for us here. Flavors with a strong qualifying so far. And if this last sector is a good one... But I can't lie, it looked like he left him on the table there. Wasn't using the curb on the outside to widen the track. I think that could have cost him a 10th or so. But we'll see. That's a 23.202. He lost a bit of time in the last sector, and in the end it's P6. That could have been a little more, especially if you look at how close it is between himself, Kuku and Flavors. He is that 21 thousandths behind Sean. No, 19 thousandths. Well, it is very close, for sure, between himself, Kuku and Sean. So that could have very reasonably been a P4 for him, with a slightly better lap. Rival down by 11 thousandths after the middle sector, but with a good final sector he can put himself pretty far up to it. He's only half a tenth exactly off Sean in 4th. His teammate Bob Bordino right now in 3rd. It seems like something has been replaced well, but Rival opting not to finish the lap just about makes the pit lane. We saw a crash there yesterday, Nemesis going in the wall during the race, losing his chance to do it, and Rival has retired from the session. Has he already run out of tires? Has he used all 3? But then why wouldn't he just finish the lap? Well, unless he was miles down. That is surprising to me, but Rival then with 4.5 minutes to go. No more lap left for him. Guga currently out on track, as not the few cars. Lanky also on a hot lap, as well as Flavors, who I think is on an in lap. We've just finished one. And Guga goes back to the pits as well. Let's have a look at Lanky then. Currently on a 24.2 in last of those who've done a valid lap time. 4/10 of picks ahead of him. And that's gonna be P13 for him, 23.776. And that is also, I mean, look at how close that is. From Aussie to Lanky, it's half a tenth, from 10th to 13th. And then it's only a 10th ahead to Top Dog. The midfield also very close right now. Bobordino up by a 10th in the first sector. Peacefully on his lap as well now. Currently our pole sitter. I am not getting a delta, unfortunately, so we'll have to check back on that at the end of the middle sector. Bobordino chicane looked a little bit scruffy, I think. A bit far away from that apex, I would say. Peacefully staying off the curb on the right-hand side, opting for a bit more stability on the braking. Bobordino in the middle sector has got a 2.5 improvement. That could be enough to beat Gabri. But he's going to need a good final sector to beat PC if he wants to do that as well. Which I'm certain he's going to want to do. We'll see if he's able to. PC up by half a tenth, so a small improvement coming from him as well. If he hits a good final sector also. Bobordino, he is about to cross the line. He's got 2 corners to go. A bit of a slide there coming out of the corner where Latifi crashed back in 2021. Just about within track limits there, using all the track available to him. And a bad axle at the final corner. It's not enough for an improvement. The last sector, a bit too scruffy, a few too many mistakes. And that is going to be also an invalid lap for Pisivoli. He tries to get back to the pit lane now. Just about. Has made it over the line. That is technically a very illegal entry, but thankfully no one else was anywhere near him. So he hasn't caused any dangerous situation with that. So he should be fine. He's going to have enough time to get back out again. I mean, it's 2.5 minutes. He's going to have to really hurry up to get another lap. And Gabri starting his last lap now. Currently in second place, 22.744. 2.5 tenths he needs to gain here to get PC off pole position. First sector, a 45,000 improvement. Already puts him into the 22.6s. And now it looks like it's going to get a slipstream for Flavors again. Haas working together quite nicely. But Gabi is maybe a little bit far away right now. Flavors now pulls off the left-hand side. Lets Gabi go, so he doesn't get any dirty in the chicane. And that looked a good chicane. Good momentum carried. Nice apex speed. The apex is also hit, which is important. And after the middle sector, we've got a 1.5 tenth improvement. With a good final sector, it's definitely possible that Gabri could steal pole position away from PC, who's just now coming out of the pit lane. So it's going to be really tight for him to make the line. It's got, yeah, pretty much exactly, I think 1:22 it was when he came out the pits. So he might just about make it. Of course, it's going to be in non-EAS this lap, but he has, of course, after the pit exit, a few less meters. I think it's going to be really close to PC to make the line. So Gabri through the last corner, a bit of a correction there. That might have cost him valuable thousands. And it has. 22.658, it's an improvement, but it's not enough for pole. Still 1.5 tenths off that lap you see what he said earlier. Aussie has just gone into 8th position, 23.314. Flavor starting his last lap now. Pub Dog Always already on laps. Maxi near the end of one. 3/10 up as one of the Williams has to get out the way there in an awkward spot. Thankfully, did so quite nicely and Maxi was not impeded whatsoever. But still, it might have been a bit of a distraction. We'll see. As he misses the apex a little bit through the second to last corner. But it's a flat out corner, so it's not too bad. Only lost him a couple of thousand, I would say. And that is a 23.344. 4/10 improvement gets him into P9. Next cross in line. Should be PC Willie, and he has made it with about 10 seconds to spare in the end. And then we've got Lanky and Phantom. Phantom makes it over the line. Lanky's making it over the line. Time's got a yellow flag right now, so he can't see the timer. But Lanky has made it. After that, an Aston Martin of J, the only Aston Martin in this race. It's one and only valid lap in the session. It's a 23.524, gets him into P11 for now. The two Saubers coming up. Pubdog up by a small amount, 50,000 in the middle sector. Behind him, Always. Pubdog first over the line. 23.446, that's enough for 10th. Then Always, P10. Takes it off Pubdog, 23.389. And then a lot of cars coming in all at once. Flavor's the first of that big group. Behind that, I believe, is an Alpine. One of the many blue cars on the grid. Flavors improves to 4th place, 23.059. Then Kuko. He's going to be a 23.113, that's P5. Then a Mercedes, which is Edwin, but he stays... Oh no, he improves to P12. After that, another Alpine, that will be Guga, then who goes 4th fastest. Who else have we still got coming over the line? How is Pix on an outlap right now? Phantom Fox and Lanky will be the last ones. PC Woody hasn't made, of course, another lap, but he's invalidated, so no improvement coming from our co-opponent. Sean does not improve either. And that only leaves Lanky, who's invalidated, Bazooka, who's invalidated, and Phantom, who's coming through the last corner now. And he's to put in a 23.851, that's only enough for P17. And Ferrari with an absolute stinker there in 15th and 17th. Got it all to do in the race. PC Woody once again on pole position here, and that's a very good start for McLaren if they want to win this Constructors' Championship. Gabri in second place, a great qualifying by him as well. The only one within touching distance of PC Woody, because after that, it's 1.5 tenths between PC Woody and Gabri, which is not nothing either. But that is 3 tenths to Boborinho in third position. But Red Bull can be very happy they have him to replace Sully. He is clearly well on the pace as well, qualifying in the top 3, and from there, anything is possible. Then the first of the Alpines, Guga in 4th position, followed by Flavors in the great qualifying up in the top 5. Then Kuko in 6th, Alpine 4th and 6th with a great spot as well to keep that 19-point lead they have right now intact. Sean in 7th, and Ryan with a good qualifying in 8th, supporting his teammate Boborinho. Ossie in 9th also, could be better maybe. McLaren gonna need a bit more than that, I think. Same for Viral, I mean 8th and 9th not bad. Especially for those guys, but they might need more. Then Maxi in 10th, Always, Pubdog, Edwin, JM, Lanky, Bazooka, Phantom, and finally Pix in 18th and last. Damn, the timer went a lot quicker than usually. Someone must have pressed continue immediately. They want to see me suffer. Just had to double check the audio was working on the stream, but it is. That would have been quite the scare if I had been commentating the entire qualifying without audio. Yeah, so now we can get ready for the race. Drivers can put in their strategies. We'll see what they opt for. 1 or 2 stop. Of course, we'll not be able to see that until, well, about lap. Whenever the first pit stop happen, really. 7, 8, I think, is where you might pit for a 2-stop. If you want to go early, of course. If you're 2-stopping anyway, you can afford to go a lot earlier, and you'd rather have the undercut and avoid getting undercut by many other drivers. Because the undercut here is very powerful. You lose a lot of time, of course. Then the overcut also is powerful, but if you've been undercut by 10 people, you can be 2 seconds a lap faster, but you still have to pass 10 people. It's not good. Especially if we have a sizable grid like we have today, 18 cars. Yeah, you want to avoid getting into that much traffic, really. Apologies. So, let's have a look at the driver strategies. Of course, presumably on pole next to Gabri and then Bobardino. We've got hards for Gabri, Kuko, Sean and Phantom. Everybody else on the mediums. So Alpine has split the strategies here. Guga starting on mediums, Kuko on hards. That's interesting. Apart from that, all the championship contenders, the constructors championship contenders, so the McLarens, Alpines and Red Bulls, all on mediums with the exception of Kuko starting on the hards. Gabri in P2 on the hards is an interesting choice. I would have thought he's going to try and attack PC very early, but instead he's trying to play a long game here. Of course, we'll see how that plays out. If those guys are going for one stop, two stop, that's going to be the much more crucial question in this race, I think. Because this is not just about medium hard or hard medium, it's about medium hard hard, hard medium hard, hard hard medium, medium hard, I think that's it, medium hard hard. Or just, yeah, medium hard hard medium. You have a lot of options around here. One stop, two stop, what order you go on the tires in. But for now, for the first lap, we'll have our usual all-out racing. And it's lights out, and away we go for the last time of the season here in Abu Dhabi. And PC with a great start has gotten clear of Gabri down towards turn 1, who himself has lost position for Bobardino. Gabri, of course, suffering the effect of that hard compound tire. Always already out of the race with a crash at the first corner. We've got a virtual safety car out on track. As always, is spun around in a wall after turn 1. Unfortunately, we'll see what happened to him. But he is the only one who seems to be affected. There's no one else miles off the field. I'm sure there would have been someone who made contact with him, so there might be a car coming into the pits into the lap, and that will tell us who might be involved in that. But always then with a turn 1 incident ending his season finale. The VSC gives us an opportunity. Gabri actually slipped back ahead of Mourinho somehow. Should have a look at the position changes, as we're already in the green flags again, so scrap that. Back to the racing. The top 3 already pulling away though. Guga out of the DRS, he didn't have a great safety restart there. And Bobardino now putting pressure on Gabri. Of course, Gabri on a hard tire is going to be an easy target, especially on these opening laps. Eventually though, that hard will come into its own and be faster than the mediums. And Bobardino has not found a way past him yet. So Gabri now needs to try and push hard to stay with PC, but he makes sure he stays in DRS range as well. Maxi and Papdog battling over 10th, as Papdog is missing a lot of the front wing, so it might have been a collision between two Saubers actually. And that would be, well, the cardinal sin of motor racing. You never crash with your teammate. Papdog, well, he is the one with the wing damage that I was talking about, might be the indication of what has happened to Always. And I think he might have just given another car wing damage as well, as he had to brake, of course, for that corner, which is usually flat out. Not his fault, of course, he has almost no wings, so he's gonna have to brake. Just a bit unlucky, so many cars close behind him. And I think it's called, yeah, Lanky, who's missing the front right end plate, who has a big moment as well through turn 1 there. As he's now under attack from Pix, and there's wing damage as well on the car of JM. He is missing both end plates, both left and right end plate. Surprised didn't pit with that much damage then, but he's kept going for now. Gabri has kept the DRS to PC just about, crucially. Guga, I think, hasn't kept DRS to Bobardino. Papdog now coming off the pits on fresh, hard tires. And we have a move there between both the V-Cubs and the Ferraris. And that is Lanky and Bazooka having a battle, as Bazooka has gone deep. And Lanky has secured a switchback and is back up into 14th. Now a swap between 6 and 7 between two of the Constructors' Championship contenders here. Viral has gone past Aussie, but he has a big moment. Goes out on the curb, has a massive sideways moment. Thankfully for him, we call it. But Aussie slips back through, is back onto 6th. And that is a few points for McLaren that could be crucial, especially because also points lost for Red Bull. JM has had a crash here, it seems. Doesn't look like he picked up more wing damage than he already had. Oh no, he did. He definitely picked up more damage than he already had. So he's now also come into the pits this lap. And we now have a top 5 train here, as Bobardino has caught up. Guga has caught to Bobardino, and Flavors in his lead as well. Aussie the first one out of the train as he goes very deep at turn 1. And this is, well, bad news, I would say. For... oh, well, not really, because right now, every team in the Constructors' Championship fight has got one car in that front fight and one car in the second train. Pisivoli, Bobardino and Guga each in the lead train, and then the second train, Aussie, Varol and Kuko. Kuko, of course, on the hards, so his time will come later in the race. As you see a swap between the two Mercedes, Edwin moves up into 10th, Maxi sends it back up the inside there. The Mercedes clearly with no team orders here, of course Maxi a reserve driver for the team, so he has not got well, much allegiance really to Edwin. Not that I think Mercedes is really fighting for much, so it's something I think Mihai would have also gone for that move, I can't lie. Sean is all over the back of Aussie. It might already be the hard tyre coming into his own there, and he's looking for the switchback, so the flat out corner has now got the inside, and that's a great move by Sean. As he spots the gap on Aussie, and gets himself up into 7th, now staring at the back of Viral. Sean in his last race with Pix as his teammate, and could be his last race then as well for Williams. I'm not too sure if that's going to be the end of an era as well. As Flavors is struggling to hold on to the lead DRS train that is over a second back now from Guga. Flavors and Rival, you can see why they were the ones fighting over the Division 3 win yesterday. Right now running in 5th and 6th. Have had great starts in this race. But Sean, I think, is about to put an end to that 6th position that Viral is currently inhabiting. As he has DRS on him, Viral doesn't have any DRS on anyone. That means Sean has got a simple pass there to move up into 6th position. But he's very low on DRS now. As Kuko now also starting to follow through. Sean has already made his way past Aussie and Viral. Viral has now gone into the back of Sean and has picked up wing damage. As Kuko is looking for a move on Aussie. McLaren and Alpine, two of the championship contenders, battling for P8, and Kuko pulls ahead in the end. Aussie not got the straight line speed that Kuko has, but Viral, yes, missing the front left end plate as he went into the back of Sean into that chicane. And that wing damage is going to be very costly for him, as now Kuko has immediately taken the opportunity and gone past him. That is more points in the bank for Alpine. And as it stands, that is almost certainly an Alpine championship. Running in 4th and 7th, McLaren in 1st and 9th, Red Bull in 3rd and 8th. Don't need to do the math on that if you have a 19-point lead. Well, and your second car is beating everyone else's second car, you've won. It's exactly the scenario I talked about. If PC Woolley, of course right now is leading the race, if he were to win this race, that still only gets McLaren 25 points, and they are 19 behind Alpine. So only the 2 points from Aussie will not be enough to overcome the 12 that Guga's getting right now and the 6 that Kuko's getting right now. Tom was all on me, says Floyd. Who's Floyd? As we have a yellow flag for Jay. A spin at the last corner. Oh, Floyd is always. I see. I checked on the channel, looked at the videos. So there wasn't any... he's put in the chat as well. Didn't even need to do all the effort. And I say it's now a swap between Kuko and Sean. Kuko's gotten past him to the DRS straight up into 6th. Let's clear that up. You literally just spun at the first corner of the race. And went in the ball on your own. What a way to end the season. I think it's probably better than being taken out, at least, I don't know. I guess you only have yourself to blame then. As now Aussie and Rival are battling for the second to last corner, but Rival is already into the pits on lap 6. A very early stop. I mean, I did say if you're gonna go for a 2-stop, you might as well undercut. Rival has taken that to the absolute extreme here. And that's gonna be a second set of a hard tyre for Viral. No wing change, gonna keep going with the broken wing. So Clay not infecting him too much. But he's gonna try and make this 2-stop work. Gabri in the meantime is the only one who's kept up in DRS range of PC release, so that start on the hard tyre clearly working out quite well for him. He has underfueled the car a bit. No, I think he's starting on exactly 0. He's lifting coasting. I'm not sure if that's him tyre saving or if that's him having to fuel save. Pump. Rear got on the curb, Hausmann got plowed, lost front tyre. So a bit of a train of events really for always at turn 1 to end the race immediately. That's really unfortunate. I mean, at least you still have the Division 1 race, so you can have as JM is now tired in the pits as well, you can have a proper goodbye to season 17 still, hopefully. I mean, it can't get much worse than making it about 5 meters past turn 1. So we have a big train here. Edwin, Maxi, Pix, Phantom, all very close together, as Phantom is of course trying to do his usual last to first challenge. Lanky already also has made a pit stop at some point, which I missed actually. Did he get a wing change, or has he just also gone for a really early undercut like Viral did? There's too much going on in this race to pay attention to everything. Here we have a battle for third position. Guga on the back of Bobodinho, and this is crucial as well for the constructors. Alpine against Red Bull. A direct fight out on track. As Bobodinho is under attack down the chicane. Guga goes up the inside with the DRS. Of course, that does give Bobodinho the DRS into the next straight. But I think the ERS he's got, he's not going to have a chance here, but he's going to stay in DRS to him for the next couple of laps, and we'll see if we can go back at him. Gabri is burning a bit of his ERS, might be looking to put a move on Pisivoli if he can. Pisivoli with a lot more ERS left in storage, he's got something to defend with there. Of course, Pisivoli is going to have the undercut on him, as we have a swap for 9th and a swap for 11th. Phantom gets past Pix, as Maxi gets past Edwin. No one responding to Viral's undercut. The question I have, I mean, he's got 28 seconds to the leader now. Could he come out in the lead? How close was he? Because he was in that second frame, but I don't think was that far behind by the time he pit. Maybe not quite in the lead, but I think sort of between Guga and Gabri, I think is doable, especially if they keep going in a few laps. As Aussie's now in. That's also probably a 2-stop, lap 8, and same for Maxi. Bazooka in as well. So yeah, now I think most of the 2-stoppers coming in, either now or next lap. Viral went really early, we'll see if that pays off for him. I think it is a good idea for sure to go for a big undercut, especially with the battle he was involved in, losing him a lot of time with Aussie. It's sort of mutually beneficial for them both to get out of each other's way. And yeah, look at the gap Viral has put out. I mean, he was literally sat with Aussie when he pit. And he's come out multiple seconds ahead, as Sean has gotten past Flavors for 5th, Phantom gets past Edwin for the 8th. And yeah, 4 seconds now that Aussie has lost in those 2 laps, as Gabri makes the move and Pisivoli for the lead. We have our lead change. Gabri makes use of those hards. Pisivoli's mediums going off already. Flavors gets back past Sean with the DRS on the next straight, and we have got Kuko having a look as Sean goes deep in the dirty air. Shun? What? My brain is gone. We're only 8 laps in. Sean goes deep. Kuko goes for the switchback midway through the corner, but can't quite complete the move. Doesn't get the exit it needs. But it was a great opportunity for him. I think he could have, if he could maybe committed a bit more, that was possible. But I guess, I mean, it's lap 8 of a championship defining race. You're not going to risk everything. Pisivoli is in the pits. Lap 9, a bit early for a one-stopper, I would say. So I think Pisivoli on a 2-stop strategy here. And the big question is, where does he come out? Where is Viral? If Viral were to come out ahead of Pisivoli, that would be absolutely massive, but I don't think he will. Pisivoli responded fairly quickly. Yeah, Viral is nowhere near him. So Pisivoli keeps the effective lead of the race, the first of those who have made a pit stop. And Viral is still a couple of seconds behind. But of course, Pisivoli, well, he's not normally... Pisivoli is not his race, but it kind of has to be if he wants to win this Constructors' Championship. He's not going to do that by being beaten by Pisivoli, but there is a reason that Pisivoli is a reigning champion, but there was a discussion if he might be too good for Division 2, while Viral is allowed to race in Division 3. Pisivoli is quite simply a class above. And you can't expect Viral to all of a sudden become that much faster. Although I'm sure he'd love that. 6 seconds, he's now back in that fight for Constructors, as Kuko has made a brilliant move on Flavors around the outside. Gets himself up into the top 5. The mediums really falling off now. And the guys starting on hards really coming to their own. Gabri, Sean, Kuko, Phantom. This is where they reap the benefits of the pain they went through in the early laps, losing positions and losing ground to everybody else around them. Pisivoli is going to run up into a bit of traffic up ahead. Pix, Edwin, Phantom. Thankfully for him, they are close-ish together, but not in a big DRS train. So it is definitely doable to pass them without losing too much time, as Tuco gets past Sean for P4 there on a awkward spot in the S section, which is usually completely flat out, so maybe Sean made a mistake there to allow Kuko to get through that easily. And Sean is disconnected! No mistake! That is what happened. Sean has been taken over by, yeah, I'll send him an invite as soon as I can, there we go. And hopefully Sean can get back in the race as soon as possible, because he was in a good spot, running up in 4th position. And that could now be ruined by the disconnect here. I mean, if he gets back in, he won't have lost too much. He is out of DRS range to Kuko by the time he's gonna have control. There he's back in, okay, so he won't have lost that much, because I think he picked a good spot on the track to disconnect, if that makes sense. Because the EI had to do mostly the straight parts. If he gets in control now for the 3rd sector, he's not that bad. It's not race over or anything. So there we have got Pix, Edwin and PC really very close together. I said they weren't that close together and he could maybe get them one by one. Now Edwin and Pix are all over each other and PC really stuck at the last sector. And he's definitely losing ground here. That is very good news for Gabri. Yes, PC really is not going to find a way around him here. Oh, easy. The outside line for the second to last corner as PC really commits to it fully. Pix goes off into the pit lane and PC really is released into clean air once again. Now 3.5 seconds between himself and Phantom. Sean is back in control, he's lost about throw, Sean! He has a spin coming out of turn 1, goes in the wall, and that is wing damage for the Williams man in his last ever race for the team, with Pix as his teammate at least. And it's big wing damage on the left side. Only just back in control, trying to recover the lost time, and maybe a bit too much. Sean throws his own race into a barrier. The absolute worst thing you could have imagined there. As we have got a battle for 50, that's Phantom on the back of Flavors. The Hearts, of course, will be much faster at this point. PC really only 2 seconds back. He's going to try and get around these guys quickly. Flavors, of course. His teammate Gabri currently in P1. I mean, Flavors is running a very good race for himself, so I don't think it's going to go all-out wingman here. But I'm sure he won't make it easy for PC to get through. But he does make a mistake there and allows Phantom to go past fairly easily. And now we've got PC really staring at the back of Flavors. The teammate of the man is racing for the race win. And Flavors, I mean, of course, now in the 3rd sector, not much opportunity to pass. But surely Flavors going to try and defend this for as long as he can. To hold PC really behind. He pits! He pits! I'm disgusted. So many opportunities to play games, and I mean, I as a commentator, I am disgusted. As a league admin, good boy. Let's not have any nonsense. But as a commentator, the nonsense might have been fun. But PC really, I mean, he's lost well, like half a second maybe in that last sector, being stuck behind him. It's something. Every bit counts. Of course, he will come out miles ahead of Gabri anyway. The question is only how far behind, and if Gabri can get that gap back down and re-overtake him at the end when he goes onto the mediums. I mean, oh well, of course, PC really, I think he might be on 2-stop because he did go quite early. It's a long stint on the hards there if he wants to make that to the end. But I think it's just about within the realms of possibility, you know. Viral in the meantime has already been caught by Aussie and being overtaken by Aussie. So his undercut strategy has not worked out quite that well. As Aussie, well, of course the damage will be impacting him, yeah, but was able to drive that gap back down fairly quickly. Guga and Bombardino now the last ones of the mediums onto the hards. Lap 13, almost certainly a one-stop strategy here. They've done a great job to get those tires to last that long. 2 of them into the pit lane at the same time now as PC really puts in the fast lap of the race, chasing after Kuko. And I mean, if he is on a 2-stop strategy, he's got P2 in the back already, because he's not far away from the guys who are battling over P2. And there we go, Guga and Bombardino out the pit lane on fresh hards, and they're gonna come out and right in this train of 2-stoppers. Aussie, Viral, split by Guga, Bombardino splitting Maxi and Viral. So the 2 Red Bulls right behind each other, and I'm sure Viral's not going to put up much of a fight against his teammate there, doesn't want to hold him up. We need Bombardino to score good points here. And now we've got Guga River attacking Aussie for P5. And the McLaren doesn't seem to put much of a defense there, but he has got a DRS for the next straight now. And surely he's going to want to get ahead of that Alpine once again as PC really makes the move on Kuko. But Kuko gets back up the inside with a nice switchback. And Kuko surely needs this position. He needs to hold PC really up. If PC really wins this race, that is the absolute worst for Alpine. And he goes back up the inside. But I don't think it's possible. Yeah, it's a lost fight unfortunately, but Kuko gave his best there. Also, he couldn't get back past Guga either. And there we have it, the switch between Red Bull's Viral lets Bombardier through. Doesn't want to hold him up in that last sector. He knows his teammate on much fresher tires will be much faster, and he's got all the motivation to let him through and let him go after some more points for the team. As Pix and Lanky are having an almighty battle for the last sector here. Still side by side, Edwin looking to get involved as well. Oh, and Lanky fully sideways, he's caught it. What a battle this is. And Pickles come out on top. Now Lanky, unlike by Edwin, looks to go around the outside to the second class corner like PC really did on him. He doesn't get it quite as nicely, but he's still on the outside through the last corner. Battle continues now down towards turn 1 as Lanky and Edwin are still side by side down the main straight. What a duel this is here in Abu Dhabi. Edwin breaks late on the inside line, gets the car rotating over the curb, and moves up into 13th place. And Lanky now under attack from the next car, Papdog, with a great exit of the S section there, now on the outside into the hairpin. Lanky breaks his lane as he dares to defend, of course. He has got a bit of a tyre advantage there. 3 laps, fresh tyres. He's got Papdog ahead of pit on the first lap after the lap 1 collisions. And Lanky now coming back at Edwin, who hasn't got the EAS to hold on to that P13 maybe. Lanky on the inside line, breaks late, makes the apex nicely. But Edwin will have the apex for the second part of the corner, and, well, he would have had the apex if he made it, but he went a bit straight on there, I think, and he lets him back through, it seemed. Edwin? What are we doing here? What was that? He smashed his front wing off. That was quite something. I will have to look at that later again. That was really weird. They had a moment at the chicane. I guess they locked wheels and Edwin's car wouldn't turn any further right, so from then he was a passenger as well. So with proper physics, if you see that, you can think the guy on the inside just didn't turn and took the other guy out the race with him. In F125, if you have a tiny tap in the middle of the corner, the inside car basically gets glued to the outside car and then can't take the corner anymore, so he goes straight. And I think that's what happened. So there was a small tap in the middle of the corner somewhere, and that sent Edwin going straight. Who that small tap is responsible for, I think Edwin missed the apex by a little bit, but he wasn't, like, him taking Lanky all the way to the wall on the outside was not his fault, necessarily. More the game physics fault. But then what happened after, I'm really confused. It looked like he let Lanky through, and then he just turned right into a wall. Nice thing, time penalties for corner cutting. What is Edwin up to right now? I mean, he corner cut, got back ahead of Lanky, and then let Lanky back through again. I'm just confused at this point what's happening here. Oh, Edwin. That's poor. That's poor. We've got Kuka and Vrowd in the pit lane now. As Lanky goes up the inside of Edwin, who goes into the pit lane himself. And that is, yeah, really, really poor from Edwin. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it looked like it was trying to intent wreck Lanky at that point. That was really bad. Viral was in the pit lane there, same as Papdog. So Viral once again with a big undercut over everyone. There's 13 laps to go. But that, of course, is the advantage of his two-slot strategy of going so early. He gets to go early again later. Guga River now on the back of Phantom for P3. And Bobolino in tow as well. The 2 hour Alpine and Red Bull, both in a similar situation here. They are losing time behind Phantom, but I think they are pretty much locked in, battling for 3rd and 4th anyway. They have got a big gap to Garvin and PC already ahead, and a decent gap to the cars behind, who of course are 2-stopping. So really they are only racing each other, so losing time behind Phantom is not the end of the world for them. Bazooka in the pits as well now. And another thing to look out for, PC Wooly, only 1.5 seconds behind Garby at this point. So, if PC Wooly is 1-stopping, Garby is going to need to make up a full stop. If PC Wooly is 2-stopping, he's already made up a full stop, and they are basically on equal terms again now. With PC Wooly of course having a big tyre advantage, as now both Guga and Bobardino get past Phantom down the straight. Nothing can do there. Big tyre disadvantage, no DRS for him, as Flavors makes his way past Maxi for 7th. And Guga and Bobardino battling over 3rd there. They are side by side, coming to the 3rd sector. Bobardino's got the inside line, he's got the advantage, he's further ahead, and he pulls ahead fully for the corner. As PC only gets a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings, as him and Garby are in the pits on the same lap. So we've got a straight out battle here, and that penalty for PC really, yeah, there is a bit of a glitch in the penalties on this track in the pit lane. You can get a penalty for just taking the pit lane entry normally. You can get a warning for that. So those are definitely removable. And yeah, PC really was right behind Garby. PC really with his 2nd stop, Garby with his 1st stop, and we have now got a straight out battle between the two of them. The only difference, PC Wooly on hards, Garby on mediums. That 3-second penalty for PC Wooly very likely to be removed. And this is now a very interesting scenario for the last 11 laps of the race. Garby, you would think, has the advantage early on in terms of tyres, and PC Wooly is not going to go for the overtake here. He definitely could get past if he wants to. He's very much close enough to get easily past him down the straight. But I think he's waiting for the 2nd straight. But look at the advantage Garby has from those corners. That should be enough of a gap to keep him ahead. I think Garby's best bet here is to get away now. Get PC really out of the ES range, because those hards will be faster at the end. Like we saw in the first stint, where PC really was under pressure from Garby, who, when the roles were reserved, PC really on the mediums, Garby on the hards, and at that point Garby about lap 8 or so started looking faster than PC really did. We've got 11 laps to go. As Aussie has gotten past Sean for P9. Garby 5.5 seconds behind Guga and Bombardino, who of course could play a factor in this battle as well. Those two definitely going to know of this race. They are in 1-2. They will almost definitely be caught by Garby and PC Wooly. So it's gonna be for sure a question of when, not if, Garby and PC Wooly take P1 and P2. But of course, Garby, unlike the rest of the top 4, is not involved in the Constructors' Championship fight. So really, every single one of these guys, Bombardino, Guga and PC Wooly, are probably thinking here, if I can't win this race, I would like Garby to win. Because he's the one who like, doesn't matter to me at all right now, in terms of the Constructors' Championship fight. Of course, PC Wooly himself has the best cars to beat Garby. I think Bombardino and Guga know they've lost to Garby already. But, I mean, if I'm Bombardino and Guga here, I might think, if Garby comes up to me, I'm just gonna save my ERS, let him go, and might save it to defend against PC Wooly, because, I mean, I've got a lot more motivation for PC Wooly to miss out on some points here. As we have a swap there for 11th, that's Bazooka getting past Rival. Rival now back into the ERS, probably gonna try and re-attack him down towards the left-hander, and that is gonna be Rival going around the outside. And up ahead into 11th once more. Bazooka looking for the switchback from the corner though. But he can't get alongside the Rebel man, and Rival holds on to 11th. PC only with another fast lap of the race, 25.562. The bonus point as it stands going towards McLaren. But with the current scenario, that would be an Alpine Championship, P2 and P6. Of course, PC Wooly has got that penalty hanging over his head. which would definitely affect the standings quite a bit. As it would currently drop him behind Gabri, and likely would... Yeah, I think the very likely scenario here is that PC Woody is going to win the race on track and then loosen on penalties, but then get that penalty removed by the stewards. That would be a bit of a mess if that were to decide the championship. So it's a bit shit with that track limit glitch at the pit entry. So I hope it doesn't come down to that. But I mean, it's a fairly slam dunk penalty removal, so if it comes down to that, it's not controversial at all. It's just a bit shit when you can't properly celebrate it at at the end of the race. As Aussie has gotten past picks for 8th. Aussie on fresh tyres in the Grand Prix, making moves. I mean, Phantom ahead is for the penalty, but I think he also got that in the pit entry, so that's gonna affect quite a bit of the results in the end. Seeing which of those penalties get removed. So we're getting past Maxi for 12, those two having a battle. The gap from Guga to Gabri now down to 3.5. Of course, these two are not that focused on all-out lap times, Gabri and PC really. They are more focused on each other right now. It doesn't seem like Gabri has the pace to get PC out of the ERS, and neither does PC against Gabri. So really, it doesn't matter too much. As long as they catch the Bombardino and Guga, they don't care. They can save some ERS, save some tires, and make sure they have enough left to battle each other at the end. As PC Woody now has a run on the Haas driver and he's gonna go for it. PC Woody back up into P3. Gabri settles in behind. He knows now the ERS one coming right up. He doesn't need to fight this all out now. And there are plenty of laps to go as well, but PC Woody with the red exit there, that should be him for at least this lap holding on to P3. The question is about next lap, the lap after that, and so on. This fight could go all the way into the line. For sure, Gabri will not give up. He wants to end this season on a high. As we have a swap for 11th there. Viral is lost out to Bazooka, or has he? Yes, they are side by side. Through the chicane, but who's got the DRS now down the straight? And it is Bazooka, who is likely going to get back past Viral there. He's got the inside line. Viral has got no DRS to defend against it. And he gets past. On the inside, Bazooka goes a bit deep. Viral looking for the switchback, but he gets a moment of oversteer. And that costs him in the end. As the exit is horrible. Viral is round! Viral is round into the wall. It's got foaming damage. And that is him out of the fight for the points. And that is it. The nail in the coffin for Red Bull, I'm pretty sure. I mean, if Bombardino were to win this race and Alpine score 0, then maybe we could talk about it again. But Viral not scoring any points in this race is going to make it practically impossible for Red Bull to win this. Especially because the odds are that if there's anyone who can catch Red Bull, catch Alpine anyway, it's going to be McLaren, because PC really has a chance to win this race. And Viral now with tires in the pit, and that's him throwing in the towel in terms of the championship fight. Bombardino, I mean, mathematically, sure, he can win this on his own, but realistically, 23 points back. Yeah, he needs a P1 with basically 0 points from McLaren, and then there's still Alpine to think about. Of course, they are also 4 points behind, and right now, Guga has just taken the lead of the race, and is, as it stands, claiming the full 25 points. But yeah, I'm assuming that either PC or Gabri is going to win this anyway. They've got a big tyre advantage over the cars ahead, and they've now caught up into the ERS range. We've got a 4-way battle for the lead here, but this is fairly soon, I think, going to turn back into a 2-way fight, as PC and Gabri are going to get through Bombardino and Guga quickly, and then battle between themselves again. But yeah, now, what I talked about earlier comes into effect. Guga, River, and Bombardino. Especially Guga now. I mean, Bombardino's only a reserve, his teammate is out the race anyway. I don't think he really cares about the Constructors' Championship. But Guga for sure has got motivation to help Gabri essentially, and make sure Gabri has a good chance to win this race. I mean, even better, I think, for Guga would be himself winning this, but that's very unlikely from here. So let's see, PC really? Well, Bombardino's not just going to let him go for sure. He's burning some ERS there, but he's already out of it, halfway down the straight. So next straight, I think PC really has a good chance to move up into second place. But then the question is all about Guga. Can Guga hold on against PC really for a little while? Gabri's low on ERS, he won't get past Bombardino in the same corner as PC really does, who is now going for the outside line. They are side by side going in the corner, but Mourinho brakes as late as he dares on those older tires. PC really goes clean around the outside. A beautiful move. Gets himself out on the P2. Now Gabri looking to follow through, but that would be quite a aggressive move up the inside, and Gabri goes for it. He's got nothing to lose here, only something to gain with that race win. And he has fully gone for it. He's pulled it off. A great move by Gabri to get himself up into P3 and staying on the tail of PCV, who's now on the back of Guga. And Guga's going to try everything he can to keep PCV behind. He needs to make sure that Alpine get as many points as possible if they want to secure this championship. Aussie currently in 8th, probably going to get Phantom on the penalty. Maybe. It's close. Flavors he could be catching as well still. So there are definitely some points on offer for McLaren here. But that won't be enough, I think. As Alpine are running quite well themselves. Kuko going to finish, I imagine, 5th place. And Guga, 4th or 3rd, most likely. As now PC oh, what an aggressive defense by Guga. Pushes him all the way to the white line down the straight. And now outbrakes him down to chicane. He is putting everything into this fight. That was, well, maybe a bit too aggressive. I think the stewards might have something to say about what Guga just did there. But PC now to DRS on the 2nd straight this time. He has got Guga, and Guga's got nothing he can do about that. And Gabri is going to slip through on the inside as well, and Guga, well, either he couldn't or he didn't want to defend that as hard as he did against PC. Both of PC and Gabri have gotten through and into the first 2 positions of the race. They have now got a clean fight to the line between only themselves for the last 5 laps in this race. The, well, for so long, the 2 main chasing contenders in the championship fight against Sully, who was miles ahead of everyone, now turning out to be PC who was the one who was being chased in the end. So no avail. Absolutely miles in the standings, but Gabri at least is going to try and ruin his nice end to the season and get that win for himself. I'm sure he's going to want to come out with a positive out of another tough season for him. Another season where he's fighting for the championship and drops out of the contention near the end, as we have a battle for 5th here. Kuko's come up to Flavors. A 4-lap tire advantage in favor of Kuko. You would think he can get past here. The DRS down the straight, he's very close behind. And that should be a simple move for Kuko. Get himself up into 5th. But that will be, I think, the end of his rise in the field. P5. After that, a 13-second gap to the cars ahead. So Kuko's going to come out of this race with 10 points. Guga coming out with 15 as it stands. 25 points going Alpine's way. 25 points going McLaren's way for PC and the 4 from Aussie. That would put them still 15 behind. So McLaren need a miracle worth 15 points right now. Red Bull, well, they need a lot more than that. They've got 1 car left in the fight, currently scoring 12 points. That still leaves them 21 points behind without anyone else scoring any points even. And then of course, right now McLaren and Alpine are both scoring very good points. So as it stands, Alpine are on their way to a Constructors' Championship fight. Guga is on his way to a P4 in the standings. Phantom, Sean, Kuko, all nowhere to be seen for him. In that fight as well, going the way of Guga. And Gabri has lost out on DRS, presumably, exactly like I said. I think it was about 8 laps when the pendulum swung in favor of Gabri in the fight for the lead on the first stint, where Gabri had the hards and PC had the mediums. Now we're 8 laps in, the other way around, as they came out the pit lane very close together, and PC is now starting to pull away. Gabri's mediums can't keep the pace of PC anymore, and if anything, I think he has to look backwards now, because Guga has kept up with him. So maybe I wrote off Guga and Boborino too early in the fight against Gabri, and those mediums have lost their grip at the end. And of course, that's actually bad news now for PC because it means another position that Guga gets, and if anything, that gets them further away from a Constructors' Championship win. I mean, the best case scenario right now for PC is probably maybe Phantom at Kuko. That would be Kuko down into 6th, and then Guga finishing 4th. But that's still 12 and 8, so 20 points for McLaren. Sorry, for Alpine. With 25 and 4 points, so 29 points for McLaren. So yeah, that will still only be a 9-point swing in their favor. They need 19. So that would still not be enough. So as it stands, Alpine in a very comfortable position. As Gabri is pulling out of DRS, which Guga is putting the foot down. We've got Sean in the pits, they didn't have the race. He was fighting over a handful of points at best, I think, in P10 there. Well, not even a handful. One singular point. And he's opted instead to go for a tyre change onto some mediums with only a couple of laps to go. Trying to go for a fast lap attempt, I suppose. I mean, if you're fighting over 1 point, and you're fighting for nothing really in the standings, like maybe a fastest lap, it's also worth only 1 point, but there's more glory in that, I don't know. Sean might also just be bored. He has a tough race today. Was in a good spot with Kuko, so he could have also been involved in that battle. Right now that we see here, Kuko, Phantom, Flavors all fairly close together. This is where Sean could have been as well. But that disconnect, well, didn't even cost him that much. He was still right behind Flavors. But he had a spin right as he came back in control of the car. And that cost him in the end. PC Rooney has also built out a lead of over 3 seconds, so that penalty he got in the pit entry actually irrelevant now. Which he got more warnings afterwards, so that wouldn't have been removed anyway. So that actually is quite crucial that he got that 3-second lead, because he would have lost the win. So unless Gabri, oh well, it's not over yet, because 3.2 seconds. If Gabri has a good final lap, it's not within it's not impossible that he gets back within range of PC Rooney. But if Guga starts battling, that's gonna get a lot harder. But then again, if Guga were to win this race, he'd definitely be quite happy with that, and it would guarantee Alpine the championship win, no matter what happens behind. As Ossie, of course, on fresher tires is chasing after Flavors, and that would be another couple of points for McLaren, but still just not enough. Shaw Moore now picks up a 3-second time penalty, multiple track limit warnings. Gabri 3.5 seconds back from PC Rooney. As Phantom and Kuko have a swap for 5th position there. Phantom got his penalty in the pit lane, so let's check if he had any warnings afterwards. Otherwise, yep, that penalty of Phantom is being removed, I'm very certain. All he has to do is send that in, and then it will be removed. So that would be Kuko down into 6th. A few points lost for Alpine there. Kuko's currently scoring 8, Guga scoring 15. 23 points going their way. And with that they would secure the Constructors' Championship, and if anything, Gabri is losing loads of time right now to PC Rooney. 5 seconds back now, and he's playing DRS games there, letting Guga pass in the battle for P2 here. Guga gets ahead on track. Gabri now is the DRS down the straight. Is he gonna go for it here or down the next straight? Let's see. He's burning all takes, so I think he's gonna go for it now. Which I'm surprised by. If you're gonna play a DRS game, surely you want a DRS in the second straight. Guga goes back up the inside, goes super deep, and Gabri with the switchback. And they bang wheels. Gabri gets pushed off the track. Who's got the DRS in the end? Neither one. No DRS for either car, as Gabri's now on the slipstream. Guga covers the inside. Gabri goes to the outside. Now, around the outside he has to go for P2 in this race. And Gabri is gonna pull it off, I think, as they make a bit more contact once more, but Gabri is ahead and keeps P2 in the end. What a battle on that last lap. Guga has to look up the inside once more, but that's a bit too far away. But look at this man, PC Rooney, ending his season in style. He's already champion. It's not enough for the Constructors' Championship for McLaren, but what an end to the season for him. Another win here in Abu Dhabi, and he can be really happy about that. Celebrates across the line. Gabri brings home a 2nd place with a great battle on the last lap with Guga. Bobolinho in 4th. Phantom and Kuko also having a great scrap there on the last lap. Unfortunately, I couldn't see as we was crossing the line. But Phantom comes out ahead against Kuko, unless Kuko can do something on this last corner. All or nothing up the inside. He doesn't make the corner in the end, but he gets ahead in the end actually. That might go down to the stewards then, but I think it's all irrelevant. Even with only Guga's points, that would be the championship for Alpine, as Ossie gets ahead of Flavors at the line. Bazooka in 9th. Maxi scores the last point, and we've got Pubdog, Pigs, and Sean is doing donuts to celebrate the end of the season. Yeah, gifting Lanky a P13, unless he's also going to start doing donuts. Come on, give us one. Yes! Good man. And what a season it has been. Thoroughly enjoyable. And yeah, Alpine, P3 and P5, 25 points going their way. So they basically tie the points tally that PC already had. Aussie scoring 6 points, so that's still 13 points that Alpine are ahead. So yeah, even if Kuko were to get disqualified for that move on the last corner, which would be unbelievably tough on him, that would still be Alpine winning the championship. So I think we can, even though there were a few involvements of Alpine in Internet Micro and the Stewards, I don't see them losing 13 points in total over it. So almost certainly we can say Alpine are your Season 17 Constructors Championships winners. Guga and Kuko, what a season they've had. Guga brings home 4th place in the Drivers' Championship as well, with a great drive there, making the one-stop work alongside Bombardino, the those two together for most of the race. And yeah, another great race, a really fitting end to the season that was. And yeah, I really enjoyed that. You can now have a podium. Visibly, yeah, I mean, what a season he's had. He had such a tough start at the start. I remember in Australia he had an absolute stinker. We thought he was so washed. We thought, what happened to this man? He was so fast in previous games. But he found his groove in the game throughout the season. And that 18 race Canada really, yeah, really helped him to get back in the fight. If it was 12 races, that would have been yeah, a very certain solid domination. If you imagine at round 12, what was the standings at round 12? It was after the Brazilian Grand Prix. So that was shortly after PC already had his uptick in form, of course. Yeah, after Brazil, Soli was still leading over Gabri by 29 points. PC already was 30 points back. And here we have our full race results up once again. Yeah, PC really wins ahead of Gabri, Kuga, Bobbardino, Kuko, Phantom, Aussie, Flavors, Bazooka. Maxi scores a point on his Division 2 debut, then Pix, Pubdog, Lanky, and Shaw with the fast lap of the race as well, with Viral, Edwin, Jay, and always having DNF'd here in Abu Dhabi. And yeah, a very fitting end to the season. Phantom, by the way, quietly from last in the grid to 6th. What a man. Well, not last. 17th, second last. As per usual. Start last, end somewhere near the front. But yeah, I can only thank the drivers for the show they've put on here. All season, really. It was an absolute pleasure to be yeah, to be allowed to commentate on what we saw here. I thoroughly enjoyed that whole season, really, and yeah, can't thank the guys enough for what they've done to put in such a good show. We've had a lot of work as well put in the league, with so many people helping out on running the Instagram, running a lot of the graphic stuff. The work on Division 3 as well has been really good. To get that up and running, the test races, yeah, finding new staff to run Division 3 is, of course. I mean, so far I've been running Division 2 and 1 mainly, as in the organizing stuff. That's been mainly me, and I think a third Division to also put on my plate would have been a struggle. So I'm very glad that there were so many people willing to help out there, and yeah, and all of the stuff around the social media accounts, around the stat sheets, so much work in that. I mean, it's if you look at the stat sheets and how much data there is, it's unfathomable how much time was put in by that. Yeah, mainly by Sean. The amount of time he must have spent making all of that stuff work. Phantom as well. Kuko put a lot of work into that stuff. Wezi, Sully, Mihai, Flavors, Edwin, Gabri, who else? I don't want to forget people, but there's so many people. Action Rick put in a lot of work into the statues as well, putting in results. Alex, myself was involved as well. Yeah, it's a great group of people to have so much good stuff happening for the league. Yeah, and it's been a very, very good season 17 in Division 2. I mean, we started Division 2 back in season 10, and well, in all honesty, it was a bit of a joke, the level. I mean, it was meant to be that way. It was great. It was fun. The drivers were, quite simply said, quite bad, and there was a lot of chaos all over the field. But yeah, over the course of the seasons, Division 2 has definitely risen in level. I mean, if you look at the qualifying times, the top of Division 2 is really not miles off from Division 1. That's been the case for a while now, but it's getting closer and closer every season, I feel like. Um, of course, that does raise debates. Maybe some of these drivers shouldn't even be in Division 2, but that's why I now have Division 3 as well. And I think we're in a really, really good spot now as we end season 17. And yeah, it was unbelievable. I mean, we had so many good storylines this season. If you think about the start of the season, I mean, even just that Australia race. I mean, PC really DNF'd. Edwin what actually ended up being his best race, a fourth place. Even then, miles off the pace. As Kruger and Sully had drive-through penalties, of course. And still came back to finish second and third without any safety cars or anything like that. So just pure pace, making up a drive-through penalty on everyone. With Sean bringing home the race win in the first race. And then the Sully domination started. And we thought it was a foregone conclusion. About 8 rounds in, Sully was, like 60 something points ahead. And we thought it's over. Well, how was anyone going to catch that man? And yeah, then it looked like Gabri could for a while. PC really then, I mean, that run of form that PC really had, well, post. I mean, it really started, I would say, yeah, probably at Japan. Because, I mean, PC really, his first race was a DNF. Australia, absolute disaster. Kota, second round, got himself P4. Then he finished P2 twice in Hungary and Belgium, so the form is picking up. Qatar once again, I think he had a puncture. Finished 6th in the end. Missed Singapore, finished 2nd in Silverstone. Missed Spain. So the form probably picked up at Hungary already, but he didn't get the wins. Was missing a few races, had a puncture in Qatar, but then it really gets going. He, for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 races, he was on the podium. If we don't count races where he missed, of course, he missed the Spanish Grand Prix, 9 races in a row on the podium. So yeah, from Silverstone to China, he finished every race on the podium, apart from Spain, which he missed. And if you say from the mystery round 9, from Austria reverse to China, he finished every race on the podium, winning Imola, Canada, Monaco, and China as well. And then Netherlands, of course, the 4th place. He was already champion at that point. Well, not mathematically, since he could have been caught by Sully in theory, but we knew Sully wasn't doing the last round, so we'd sort of called it, sort of not. Bit of a weird in-between spot we were in there. And then this last round, another win for PC really. I mean, he's been in unbelievable form. That's 1, 2, 3, 4... 4 wins for him this season. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 podiums in an 18-round season for PC really. Wow. What can you say? One hell of a season. I mean, if you think about Sully as well, he also had 4 wins, but his came in the early part of the season. And the problem for him was that he only had, well, the 4 wins and 4 more podiums, 1 P3 and 3 P2s. So only 8 podiums in total. And that was the concern, yeah, and the lack of consistency it was for Sully, especially in the second half of the season. His form dropped off quite a bit. The drivers here celebrating the season with some donuts. yeah, it's a bit of an end of an era if you think about these two, Sean and Pix, as they are doing donut information. I can't get a nice camera view, unfortunately. It literally will not let me change the broadcast. So unfortunately we have to do with the onboards here. I really would have liked to get a good camera view of this, but... Oh, hold on. Maybe Phantom has got our... The tires are absolutely burned. He's trying his best to get over there, I think. Phantom, you're a legend. Yes, get me a good shot of the Williams, please. No, don't straight line them! Ah, well. Yeah, Sean and Pix, after having been together in every single season of Division 2 as teammates, one of them at Sauber, the rest at Williams, finally going their separate ways. Sean teaming up with Kuko, Pix teaming up with... Sorry. Pix teaming up with Mihai from next season onwards. I went through the whole race, I think, without a coughing fit. I had one right in the end. Yeah. So those two aren't going away or anything, but still, it's a big change, I would say, still, to see them not be teammates now for the first time ever in Division 2. And we're in an exciting spot now for Division 2 in the next couple of seasons. Or for next season mainly, of course. We'll see what happens after that. And then we have even more donuts for the fans. Yeah, the teammate partnerships for next season have already been decided. We've got Sean and Kuko, who also have the first pick on cars. They have attended the most races combined. That's how we decide who gets to pick cars first. So the more races the two drivers decide attend combined in the division in a season. So it's not as complicated as I explained it here. Sean and Kuko combined this season attended 32 races, 34 after today since they were both there. I need to update that still. So they get to have the first pick. No one else attended more races than they did. And after that it goes to the second most races attended by combined, and then third, fourth and so on, with points scored being the tiebreaker. If they are equal on races attended. And yeah. Apart from that, we've got Mihai and Pix, then Phantom and Aussie, Bisivoli and Lanky, Gabriel and Viral, Bazooka and Pupdog, Always and Action Wreck, then Edwin and Flavors, and finally Guga, JM, Pocho and Skoloin are the rest of the main drivers. Soli was meant to team up with Gabriel actually, but he opted to drop to reserve in the end. Skoloin taking his main seat, and Gabriel then switched to being teammates with Rival instead. Yeah, so that's going to be the thing that we sort out over the next couple of weeks. The team picks, you'll be informed of the car picks on the Instagram. We'll post those as well. I mean, you'll see it on the Discord as well. I imagine everyone is watching this is on the Discord, but the link is our Discord link somewhere on the YouTube. Surely it is. If not, I have to sort that. But yeah, the Discord is open to everyone as well. Of course, we are always looking for new drivers, new faces in the league. We've got space in all divisions really. Mainly in Division 1, I think that's where we're most looking for people. But if you'd like to race in Division 2 or 3, we are always in need of more reserves as well. And then you can take a main seat when one opens up. Yeah, and I think that season really is very, very good advertisement for the league. And yeah, I can only once again thank the drivers, thank the staff, thank everyone for making it possible to put on the races that we do here. I think I said all I needed to say. You can watch the donuts on the main straight for a little while longer. Oh, there we go. I can finally get a good shot. Visivoli, Sean, Pix, and Maxi is just chilling right there on the starting grid still. I just heard the sound of someone slamming into a wall. Who was that? I think Phantom went into the pit wall. and Flavors has joined the boys as well. Yeah. I've said all I need to say, really. Nothing more to do. Once again, thank you all so much for watching this season. We've got one more race, of course, in Season 17. The final finish to this F1 Total season. The Division 1 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix on Saturday at 7:30 PM UK time. We're starting at our usual time. We thought about moving it for the Kota Sprint, but the distance between the sprint starting and our race starting is more than okay, so we are not in risk of clashing. I mean, if the Kota Sprint has like 15 red flags, I will probably just start a bit later, but in that case, you know, we're not going to start until the race is over, basically, but that's something to talk about if that actually happens, which it won't. So Division 1 is very much planned to start on time. Yeah, we've got a title decided there as well. Drivers' Championship already decided in favor of Kart Racer, but the Constructors is still possible. We've got a 23-point gap between McLaren and Haas. McLaren leading on 410 points, Haas on 387. So it's still possible that Haas, myself and Alex, can overcome that gap and win the Constructors. And yeah, I'm now gonna end the stream one last time. Thank you very much for watching, have a good evening, and goodbye.